Hey folks, how you doing? It's me, Big Ugly Jim. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, all the kind of things that people can do. I got this as a suggestion from one of my Discord friends, who's actually a friend of mine from the really real world. And I have a thing on my Discord for suggestions, and he suggested this website, like oil leads to global warming, data leads to social cooling. And I actually really liked the way that this was phrased. So I thought I'd just go through it a little bit, and hopefully that'll be interesting to some people. So, social cooling, what they're talking about, if you feel you're being watched, you change your behavior. Big data is supercharging this effect. So essentially, for the record, what social cooling is, and it'll sort of explain better than this, but the purpose of this whole thing is to talk about the phenomenon that says that the more we move to this social Facebook, social media kind of model, there's a dark side that goes with that, and social cooling is people's changed behaviors and things, and discomfort that comes from being involved in the really real online world. So this could limit your desire to take risks or exercise free speech. Over the long term, these chilling effects could cool down society. This is how it works. Now, for the record, this is we're definitely already seeing this. We're seeing it with assholes when they go, "Oh my God, like you can't even use the words you know that we used to be able to use," exercising their free speech. So, for example, they can't say ignorant, stupid shit and not get called out for it. Likewise, I have mentioned many times that I would never want to run for elected office because I choose to be this gigantic mouthpiece of a prick, and doing that in our current world would only blow up in my face. Now the reality is it's much more prevalent than that, and it's not just about running for office. But one, your data is turned into thousands of different scores. These are the stars behind the cloud. I like the way that's phrased. The stars behind the cloud. The cloud. And then the things you can't see behind the scenes are the stars. Right? So we have all of the stuff, and it's got it's a cool infographic. Data brokers compare your data to the data of people they know more about. By comparing the patterns, they try to guess the likelihood of thousands of details that you may never have disclosed. These are actual examples: religion, rape victim, into dieting, into gardening, number of online friends, number of real friends. I'm not going to read all of these, but you see what I'm saying. This is basic demographic information for the most part, but there's certain things that stand out. I would say real sexual orientation. That's an example of the weirdness of this kind of thing, because it's not about, oh, well, Jim says he's straight. What it's about is reading Jim's data and saying, based on our complex data analysis, we think Jim maybe isn't all the way straight. Maybe Jim is gay or bi or pan or whatever, and maybe we can market that. Now, marketing it is one thing. That's not the only way that this data could be used, though. It can be used to control me, it can be used to blackmail me, it can be used to prevent me access to things. Some of the other ones, rape victim. What fucking demographic? Like, when on earth would eBay need to know, oh, Jim's a rape victim, let's put him in the right pile for rape victims? Like, that's fucking creepy, dude. Um, am I getting tech stuff? I don't know. Nope. Okay, I'm cool. Has houseplants? Probably not the worst thing. Economic stability. Well, I just gave the fucking cat away out of that one. Smoker in the household. Like, a lot of these things, gun owner, a lot of these things are things that feel unnecessarily, or not unnecessary. They feel, not a big deal, but they are. People are starting to realize that this digital reputation could limit their opportunities. This is what I was talking about. And that these algorithms are often biased and built on bad data. Uh-huh. So according to the news, there's a few quotes here like, you may not get your dream job if your data suggests you're not a very positive person. You may see fewer ads for high-paying jobs if you're a woman. Your health insurer may collect intimate data about your lifestyle, race, and more. All of these things are dark under the curtains, right? Looking at that last one, your health insurance may collect intimate data about your lifestyle, race, and more. Let me give you an example. We went through this thing called the AIDS epidemic, and health insurers were sometimes not all that awesome. I had a friend who was HIV positive, and this was at the point where there was the cocktail, and you actually could, survive and have a life with an HIV positive diagnosis. And we were talking, and often I would forget that they had HIV because simply they were just a human being, and that was one example of things about them. And we were talking about there was a company that would come up every year and they would hire a bunch of graduates from the program we were in for year 2000 programming stuff in the States. And, you made more money, and everyone was really big on this company particularly because it sounded like a great deal. Frankly, making more money in Detroit versus making less money in Calgary. And I'm not talking about like Detroit's a cesspool of corruption. I mean, your buying power for that money is very different. And I'll stay in Calgary, thank you very much. But a lot of people weren't seeing it like that. Cool. And I said something about like, are you going to, try to interview with this company? And she laughed and said, no. I couldn't afford it. And I was like, oh yeah, the money. And she's like, no, the healthcare. I have a pre-existing condition that's kind of an expensive one. The cocktail would bankrupt me in no time. And I realized, A, how fucking evil that is. And B, when it comes to a comment like this, what if your insurer was able to, we learned about if AIDS was coming around now, and your insurer could look at data about who may be gay, because that was the original understanding of it was a gay disease. Well, if you're gay, you're having a higher likelihood. Your premium should be higher. So even without having the disease, they could look at that and say you are at a higher risk. That's the kind of data and manipulation of data that I find really fucking creepy here. People are changing their behavior to get better scores. This has good sides and bad sides. The bad sides are Ben Shapiro and the alt-right, in fact. There's a lot of people who are doing a huge amount of work to try and prove that they're great people, and they generally aren't. This is not new, but I think it's being really expanded on. Social cooling is a name for the long-term negative side effects of living in a reputation economy. Number 1, a culture of conformity. Have you ever hesitated to click on a link because you thought your visit might be logged and it could look bad? Every time I go to Pornhub. I don't go to Pornhub. I go to RedTube. More and more people feel this pressure, and they are starting to apply self-censorship. This is very true. In fact, I in a different sort of way, I will often be curious about what the alt-right and whatever are saying and doing on videos, but I don't want that that factors into my head that, like, what if they think I'm open to this? Not they as in the alt-right, they as in Google and Amazon and all that shit. So suddenly I'm getting bombarded with ads for, like, have you got your burning cross yet? I don't want one, thank you. When I go out, pictures of me might be on Facebook the next day. It becomes more difficult to let go. I found out about a website that just creates a fake, not real picture of a not real human being who has never existed, and you can use that as your profile pic. Fucking brilliant. A culture of risk aversion. When doctors in New York were given scores that this had unexpected results. Doctors that tried to help advanced cancer patients had a higher mortality rate, which translated into a lower score. Doctors that didn't try to help were rewarded with high scores, even though their patients died prematurely. Rating systems can create unwanted incentives and increase pressure to conform to bureaucratic and average. This is also teaching to the test, right? In the public school concept, when we start grading schools and funding schools based on how their students perform on tests, they're incentivizing the students to be good at that test and not to be good at being students. So this is the same concept, and I definitely see this. The more we get the sensation that our data has to look a given way, the more we're not likely to be honest, be open, be real, be whatever. And frankly, those are the things that I like about social media. Increased social rigidity. Digital reputation systems are limiting our ability and our will to protest injustice. In China, each adult citizen is given a government-mandated social credit score. If you've seen that episode of Black Mirror, I'm pretty sure this is exactly where that comes from. Represents how well behaved they are and is based on crime records, what they say on social media, what they buy, and even the scores of their friends. So you are judged by the company you keep. Huzzah! If you have a low score, you can't get a government job, a visa, a cheap loan, or even a nice online date. Like that's overreaching. Social pressure is the most powerful and most subtle form of control. Fucking A, it is. As our weaknesses are mapped, we are becoming too transparent. This is breeding a society where self-censorship and risk aversion are the new normal. Yes, we've had credit ratings before, but this is a whole new scale with an incredible level of automation, integration, and accessibility. And then they've got some, big philosophical question. Are we becoming more well-behaved but less human? I would personally say what we're doing is we're hiding more. And that hiding is kind of a big deal in my mind. See, transparency. We talk about transparency in government all the time. And we talk about transparency with our friends. We want to know the truth. We want people to be honest with us. But we aren't comfortable with that. And the more honest we are, the more we feel we have to hide. I used to have a wide open Facebook world. Didn't give fuck number one about what people, they can see things, they can find out things. If some Nazi wants to come to my fucking door, all right, I guess we're having a problem. I don't want that to happen, but I'm not going to shy away from it. But more and more, I'm now limiting who can see my posts. I'm now preventing people from sharing my posts. I'm now, there's a bunch of things that are happening. I'm not better behaved. I'm just hiding it. When I talk about, I would never run for office. Well, the option would be for me to hide all of the actual things in my life and narrowly give that out to people that I genuinely trust. And the rest of the world doesn't get to see that. To me, that's what this is about. Not necessarily the intended goal, but the accidental goal. Are we undermining our creative economy? Fuck yeah, we are. It used to be that as a musician, when I was in Johnny Incognito, I wrote all kinds of music. We were never going to be big, huge rock star celebrities. We laughed about that all the time. There was no fucking market for what we did, except for a local market that just liked having fun. As a creative, that's fine with me. I don't need for the world to love me and care about me and shine money in my pockets and all this kind of shit. I was doing it out of the joy of doing it. And I don't think that there's anything that I wrote in Johnny Incognito that would have been, canceled stuff or whatever. I might be wrong, but I just don't think there was anything offensive about what we did. But there's things that probably skirted the wrong line. We had a song called The Arab Song. And I actually was uncomfortable about it. I used to always explain the song is not about Arabs. The song is about the Fox News, CNN, the paranoia that it inspires in people during the post 9/11 aftermath. Because it was about, and the lyrics were very clearly an ignorant person And it was like, there's an Arab in my closet and he's plotting. There's an Arab in my closet late at night. I just know he has a terrorist agenda, but he hides whenever I turn on the light. Like, it was meant as a joke, and it was meant to make fun of those Fox viewers who live in perpetual fear of a thing they have no idea about. How am I doing on time here? 5 minutes. I better shut up and hurry. So yeah, we're undermining our creative economy because if I released that song and it affected, let's just say someone took it the wrong way and decided to make a big cancel culture thing out of it, which again, I don't fucking feel would happen. And if it did, maybe I needed to learn a lesson. But I don't necessarily need to have that prevent me from getting a job or prevent me from meeting a girl. Will this impact our ability to evolve as a society? Yeah, it will, if we aren't careful. We should compare this problem to global warming. Social cooling is subtle. The pollution of our social environment is invisible to most people, just like air pollution was at first. Social cooling is complex. It cannot be solved by politicians, citizens, entrepreneurs, or scientists on their own. Public awareness is still very low. It took 40 years to get the problems with oil and gas on the agenda and 80 years to get to where we are now. We can't take that long with social cooling. So there's a timeline here of oil and global warming, and then data and social cooling when it was sort of first discussed. I like that they included the Snowden leaks. In the next 10 years, we will need to spread a more mature and nuanced perception of data and privacy. Privacy is the thing, and I'm actually gonna stop here. You guys can continue to read this. I suggest it because it's a good infographic, but let me just pop back to the point where you can see just my lovely, ugly face. Oh, there's comments and I missed them. Shit. What do we got here? Oh, Bender, how you doing, buddy? I really want to say I've been listening, but I sent the message. I should have. Good evening, my friend. This sounds juicy. I don't know if it's juicy or not. Anyways, what I was wanting to say, talking about privacy. This is one of the things that I've always been really, really snarky about. I read a book a long time ago when I was in college still, and it was talking about PGP, which was a program called Pretty Good Privacy, actually, that was part of a huge debate around encryption, because essentially it was an encryption algorithm that the NSA couldn't break at the time. They can break it now. It was more powerful encryption than they could deal with. And there was a huge hubbub about this. And the conversation was much more important than the actual details. The conversation twisted around to people talking about what do you have to hide? Are you planning any crimes? Is that what you're doing? Are you a criminal? Are you bad? Why do you have to hide stuff? And that's a complete misdirection. Because here's the thing: what do I have to hide? Fucking everything. If my mom is sick, that's no one's business. If I'm thinking about breaking up with a girl, no one's business. If I lose my job, no one's business. Until I choose to tell people it's their business. But this is a thing that really creeps me out about this whole concept of the way that data is being used right now is if I reach out to my mom on social media and go, Mom, I know you're sick. I hope you're feeling better. For the record, my mom's not sick. She's doing great. She's double vaccinated. We're doing good. But if I reach out to her on social media knows. And it's not cool. That data can be sent and migrated and moved around and given to other people and all this shit. And that is fucking creepy. So I'm gonna leave it there. What am I at for time here? God damn it, where's my clock? 6:59, look at that. I said I'd be done by 7. If you're a Calgarian and you want to do so, I genuinely suggest taking a look at Taylor McNally and Stacey Mee at Inclusive Canada. They're interviewing Leslyn Joseph like in a minute. And I hope that you take an opportunity. Leslyn Joseph is running for alderman in Ward 10, I believe. So pop over, check that out. And that's why I wanted to start early and finish early. I hope this was good. Anyways, if you liked the video, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Huge special thanks goes to my one and only patron on Patreon, Mr. Shithead Dave Anderson. A punk rock name if ever I heard one. You too can have all the blissful glee of being a patron if you're so inclined. Either way, I just want to thank you for watching. So, thank you.